Welcome to my channel, The Automation Guy. Today we'll be looking at two problems. So one of them is how do we log only failed test cases in the automation reports. These test cases are API backend test cases, mainly using restassured will be writing the test cases. And how do we log only the failed test cases in the automation reports? The second problem would be how do we pretty log the GraphQL request responses in the automation reports. Let's get started. So this is what it looks like. What data is it giving? Um, the date when it has run on, the time it has taken to execute all of the test cases. So this has taken around 41 seconds and 266 milliseconds to run these three test cases. So out of these three, one has failed and two of them have passed. Let's not go into trend categories and environment. I'm sure you guys can figure that out and make use of it. Mainly, we are looking at what kind of the data we are getting on the test cases that have been run. What are the past test cases? What are the failed test cases? As you can see here, this is displaying one of the failed test cases. If you want to display the past test case as well, just tap on this and you'll be able to look at all the pass and fail test cases. So similarly, it has been categorized into various test cases which can be displayed hidden. Let's get on to one of the past test cases, test elon 1. As we can see here, the test name is displayed. This is basically a test method name, and this is the class name what we have written the test case into, rest assured test. The data what we can get from the past test case is just the duration and what kind of severity it belongs to. It's a good thing that we are not logging anything in the past test case. We are saving on memory there. Let's get on with the failed test case. So basically, I love Allure report, the kind of data, uh, how it's displayed, and the kind of color they use. It's very appeasing to the eye. So I'm an I really appreciate the colors they use, the combination of the colors, kind of font, the data. It catches the eye of the dev or the user. Let's get on with it. What kind of data a failed test case is showing? So amazing. We have this stack trace. Um, what kind of failure has happened? Assertion failure. It's expecting true, but it has found false. Uh, which line the failure has taken into? Amazing. Let's get on to again, we are seeing the duration of the test case and its category as a product defect and a severity as normal. So this is the main thing. So these are the Allure attachments, which I'll be talking to you how to do this. Basically, we are logging the request and response here, request and response of the API. The API is a GraphQL API with this endpoint. So amazing. This logs the request method, the body, the request headers. Similarly, we are able to log the response of the API. And if you can see, this is GraphQL API and it's logging very prettily. It's pretty logging it. So yes, this is how the Allure report looks like. If you are interested, you can go through the graphs as well. What kind of graph? This is one of the important graph which I use, the duration. So two of the test cases have used 0 to 5 seconds to execute, and one of the test case has used 35 to 40 seconds to execute, and the test case name is given that. So this is one of the helpful charts to me. how we are going to configure the Allure reports. First, let's go to the POM file. So these are the dependencies what you have to include for Allure reports. Dot qameta.allure, and these are the plugins what you have to include. So this can be got from here. Type in Allure reports, go to this link. Sorry, not this one. Yeah, Allure framework. If you can see here, uh, if you're a Mac user, you can do a brew install Allure. We After including into the dependencies, actually before including the dependencies, we have to do a brew install in your computer to run the Allure reports. So follow all these steps. I'll be including this project. I'm giving a link to the GitHub project, which would be very helpful to you guys. So yeah, this is how you install them. I'll also be giving this link in my description. Mm. So yeah, here is the POM file. What kind of dependencies you have to include and the plugins. Everything is here. Okay, let's move on to our test case. So rest assured test is wherein I've written the test case, test elon, and here if you can see the endpoint what we are using, the URL is a GraphQL API. This is the URL, and here I'm creating the body. This is the query which has to be passed with it. Using the rest assured given dot content type. So this basically what it does is uh, it does not log any thing yet, but let's run and see what happens here. Okay, since here I'm using asset true and giving the condition as false, the test case will be failing. As we can see, we are not seeing any logs right now in the console. Open console. Let's see what can we do to fix that. So restassured gives us this logging, and if we want to run it, we put it in a static block. So using restassured, we'll be getting this filters, request logging filter and response logging filter, which helps us logging into the console. Let me import all of this. Yeah, all of them are important. Let's run now and see if it is logging or not. Great. This is logging all of it. So if you can see here, it has logged the request method name, the URL, the headers, the body, the response headers, response body. Amazing. So uh, studying these filters, I have created two classes which would help us logging the same thing in our Allure reports as well. So let's have a look at these classes. So these are the classes which I've created. Uh, so this implements the filter interface of restassured, and in the filter interface, uh, this is the custom method what I've written. Uh, it is taking few of these parameters. You can have a detailed look at it from my GitHub link. So basically, what I'm doing here is all of the logs I'm taking from the request. mm, this request string, I'm storing all of the logs and I'm logging it into the reporter. So I'll be able to fetch all of the logs from the reporter and log it when the test case is failed. So this is the filter of restassured request logger. Similarly, I have written it for restassured response logger. So let's see how do we make use of these classes in our test suite. So before going there, let me show you how the listener automation listener class, wherein um, it listens and logs into the Allure report. So on start, this takes care of the cleaning of Allure results. So what and all is there in this Allure result folder ending with so and so extensions would be cleaned, so that we'll be having the fresh files for the next run. So on finish we do nothing, on test start nothing, on test success nothing, on test failure, on test fail. So what we are doing is after invocation runs after every method. So if the method status is failure or it has skipped, so these code lines will be triggered, and so the test logs will be fetched from the reporter test result, and it would be attached in the Allure reports. So this method takes care of that. Allure.add attachment logs. You can custom name anything as you want. Test log to string, and it will be logged. So this is the listener class. Let's go to our restassured test. So where exactly we have to make changes is after given dot, we put dot filter. Dot filter will be giving new restassured request logger, comma, new restassured response logger. So why is this giving an error? Restassured request logger. Okay, so I'm giving filter instead. I should be giving filters, new restassured response logger. Yeah. So since Allure report logs only the failed test cases, I am deliberately failing this test case, assert dot assert true, and giving a false condition in it. Let's run and see what kind of results we get on console and the Allure report. So the test case has failed. Console logs are correct. Amazing. Uh, let's generate the Allure report. So to generate the Allure report, this is how the command would look like. Allure generate Allure results. So Allure results, uh, using the files in Allure results, it will be generating the Allure report. Before that, we'll be cleaning the Allure report folder. So right now, since we are running it for the first time, Allure report folder is still not created. So let's run and see what happens. As you can see here, the Allure report folder got created, and if we go to the index.html, so great. So the time it has taken to run the test case, amazing. Let's get on the reporting what. Okay, the stack trace is perfect. Assert.fail, the line number, it's all perfect. See the request logs. So this is the request body. Amazing. We have logged our request and responses that do with 3D printing. So great. This is how we log it. So I'll be putting all of this um, in my Git repository, and I'll be sharing the link in the description. So yeah, that is it, guys. Please share, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's all. Signing off.